As you learn about the narcissistic pattern, it's also wise to reflect on the much healthier alternatives. Now, below, you're going to find a link to my new extensive course called Ready, Set, Connect. It addresses both the mindset and the skills involved in gratifying relationships, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. I want to set up our discussion by asking you a couple of very simple questions. First, do you ever seek out gratifying experiences? And the answer, well, sure you do. You have your favorite people that you like to be hanging out with, or you like events that you want to go to, or meals or moments of ease that you look forward to having. You like to have those gratifying experiences. And then a follow-up question to that is, and then do you ever experience emotion when you have those gratifying experiences? And of course, the answer is, well, sure you do. You have happiness and joy and peace and calm and all the rest that goes with it. Now, let's take those two thoughts and then bring in the narcissistic tendency. And let's focus on the fact that narcissists want gratifying experiences, but what we're going to do is we're going to say, due to their narcissism, they're into self-gratification only. And narcissists also have emotional experiences, but bringing in their core ingredients, when they don't have the self-gratification, then they wind up having unregulated emotion. And I refer to those as their twin traits. Those two traits put together, having self-gratification and then also having unregulated emotion, makes them insufferable. I mean, on a very simple level. Let's suppose that you are going with a procedure, and this can be inside your home or social circles or at work. You have something that you're doing, and the narcissist is displeased, and you just simply say, well, this is what makes sense to me. And in their self-gratification, it's like, yeah, but that's not what I want. And that's not the way I would have done it. And then when you try to talk with them, here comes the unregulated emotion. Or let's suppose that you're in the midst of doing something and a glitch shows up, an unexpected intrusion or a change in the schedule, or somebody got sick or something like that. And the narcissist, in their desire for gratification, go into self-gratification. And it's like, well, this isn't what I wanted, and I can't deal with something like this. Why do things like this have to happen to me? And so they have that selfishness that is brought into the equation, and their emotion reflects that. And basically, you can see that when we're dealing with narcissists like this, it's a formula for disaster. And I don't mean to demean children, but they're in a childish kind of mindset. I mean, you've been around little small kids, and you realize that when they don't get their way, they'll let you know. Well, what if that's a 48-year-old person, or a 64-year-old grandmother? I mean, sometimes it can happen like this. I want to take those two ingredients that lead to an insufferable mindset, and I want to break them down for you to get an idea of what we're talking about. First, when we talk about narcissists having this attitude of self-gratification, there are so many qualities that go along with that. First, you can see that these are individuals who are unwilling to defer to defer their sense of self enhancement. In other words, they just don't have any patience. It's like, well, I want what I want, and I want it now. And whenever I say something, people need to jump to. In their self-gratification, it's all about the now. That being the case, self-restraint is another quality that they carry on the inside that they don't want. Self-restraint is for someone else, but not for me. I don't have to restrain myself. You should, but not me. That being the case, they have no regard for tomorrow. It's like, but I don't want to have to wait till tomorrow. Everything has to be done in my timing, which means right now. And if I don't get things done right now for me, I'm going to go into my little fit. They have no regard for other individuals or surrounding circumstances. Going back to that, a glitch shows up or somebody thinks differently from them. It's like, but it's all about me. And as a result, their self-gratification is driven by that. They're very much into the momentary pleasure. They don't have a sense of conscientiousness, thinking, I need to blend well with others. It's like, no, I don't blend. You need to blend with me. They're driven by their own craving for dominance and supremacy, and so they don't think in terms of us. It's all about, but I'm supposed to be in charge. Everything has to go according to my agenda. As a result, serving and being an assisting kind of an individual, if they do that, it's so that you'll give them what they want, but ultimately they don't think in terms of how they can help you. They're constantly in this mindset that says, what are you going to do for me? To the self-gratifying narcissist, happiness is a right. It's not a byproduct of the way the rest of us look at it. It's like, no, I have a right. I have a right for you to think and feel and prioritize and do things just like me, and so I can be satisfied, and then my emotions will be okay. And so being in control is a necessity to them. They're takers, they're consumers. That's their self-gratification. And you can see that it's just so narrowly focused. It's all about me, and I don't really want to tune into other individuals. Then that self-gratification, when it's not met, is going to lead to all sorts of emotional disturbances. And at the very top of the list, or we can call it ground zero perhaps, is emotionally they're triggered with their own egotism, their pride, their sense of hubris. It's kind of like, do you know who I am? Don't you understand that things are supposed to revolve around me? And they've kind of appointed themselves as being, the center of their little corner of the universe. In addition, part of their emotional dysregulation is that they can actually feel shocked and surprised. You mean you're not going to do what I want you to do? And it may be some of the smallest of things around the house or at work or wherever. It's like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And so their emotions become dysregulated with that sense of shock. And of course, then you realize that when you're around these narcissistic individuals who are just into self-gratification only, you know that they have this simmering irritability and agitation. How many times have you thought, I'm just one false move away from their wrath and their anger, because it's just right there under the surface. Even if they're smiling, you can think, but how long is that smile going to last? Because I'm quite capable of thinking or saying or doing something they're not going to like. Or in addition, they can go into their rage. They can become overpowering and overbearing and punitive emotionally. What they'll do is they'll pronounce guilt and shame onto you, which of course they won't see this, but this is part of their own unfinished business with their own unfinished guilt and shame. They have a sense of hidden inadequacy. That's another part of their unregulated emotion. But instead of saying, I feel inadequate emotionally, what they'll do is they'll try to show themselves to be superior, and they've got to have that final word, and then that feeds their dysregulated emotion. And then there's another ingredient that sometimes we don't see, but there's a hidden loneliness that they have. The opposite of loneliness is having good connection. Narcissists don't have the kind of connections that they inwardly wish. That's their loneliness, but it comes out as, you don't understand me, or you're not connecting with me in the way that I demand. And as a result, all of this unregulated emotion is masking a sense of panic that they have on the inside. Oh no, life's not playing out very well. I'm the victim. Things are not going to happen good in my life at all. That's how they think. So you have those twin characteristics, or those twin traits of self-gratification and then unregulated emotion. And I know that many of you, it's like, yeah, when they go into that kind of duality there, it's insufferable. I can't deal with that. So how are we going to manage this? Now, let's keep in mind first and foremost, it's kind of like when you're dealing with that small child, you don't want to feed that. If you say, okay, I'll do everything you tell me to do, then they're going to think, well, okay, I got my way, and then they're going to be that spoiled brat. But instead, and by the way, what they're saying is, feed me, feed me, feed me. I'm very needy, I feel very inadequate, and the only way I can be okay is for you to satisfy my needs. They're very demanding, and you're in charge of their self-esteem, and that's just not a role that you need to play. Instead, the mindset that I'm going to take towards this self-gratifying and then emotionally unregulated kind of narcissist is, my approach is I can appreciate your desire to be gratified. I have that same desire too, just as we all do. But your strategy, though, of doling out punishment and going into this high demand and condescending and invalidating role or emotion whenever you don't get your way doesn't work. And I'm not going to go along with that. And you might even want to go so far as to say, I don't know that you'll say it out loud, but to the narcissist, you might think, did it ever occur to you that one of the most gratifying things that you can have in your life is cooperation and kindness and helpfulness with others? And guess what? That's how you're going to get some of it back if it's going to happen at all. It becomes contagious in that kind of way. But you see, narcissists, for whatever reason, they can't think like that. By the way, I've got a little granddaughter who's 5 right now, and we're talking about choices. If you choose this, well, what do you think will happen? If you choose this, what do you think will happen? And a 5-year-old kid is actually able to think, well, I guess between these choices, this is the better one. You can have some 45-year-old narcissistic people, and it's like, I don't think like that. And if anybody ever tried to help them think in that direction, it's like, no, that's for someone else, not like me. That's what I mean when I say they're fixated in that childishness and they just simply don't grow out of it. We can give 5-year-olds a break because they're still learning. So in the narcissist world, self-gratification leads them to think it's all about me. And then when they go into that unregulated emotion, its twin trait, then what they're saying is, and I'm counting on you to take responsibility for how I feel. And my thinking on that is, I'm not going to take responsibility for someone else's stunted development and their demands. I will give DRC dignity, respect, and civility. That's who I am. But you're on your own. And if you want to have gratifying experiences, perhaps you'll learn that it comes through conscientiousness and coordination. That's the way I roll. Now, I hope this kind of video gives you an idea of what you're dealing with so that you can know how to respond most wisely. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. I consider it an honor that you allow me to be on your journey with you, and this is a place where we can grow and mature. I'm hoping all of us together. Now, I know there are times when you have a need for therapy. If you're dealing with something like this on an ongoing basis, particularly with people who have a great deal of influence in your life, I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. It's an online therapy resource. There's a link below here that will take you to their website. And I would strongly encourage you, if you have that need, to go into that space. It's affordable and it's accessible. I've had good feedback from individuals who have gone through that. So please get the therapy that you would need if that's what would be warranted. Also, I have my courses, and they're meant to address things of this nature. Each course has at least 25 videos and written documentation. We have Ready, Set, Connect about making good connections. This is me about establishing your boundaries despite, their lack of boundaries. Free to be, finding yourself despite the controllers. We also have webinars that I presented. I'll be coming out with more as the days go by as well. In addition, we have on my website many articles. We have access to our podcast, my books, plenty of resources. Narcissists, it's like self-gratification is where it's at, baby. It's all about me. And then when you don't go along with that, it's like, wow, how come you're not giving me what I want? Okay, that's their arrested development. I'm hoping you can see through that and move beyond that, thinking, I want to be a person of steadiness. I like gratifying experiences, but it comes as I'm committed to my own sense of decency and goodness. And as you take that path, I'm hoping it takes you to your place of peace.